My name is Kylie Rumsey, and I'm doing my intercultural communication project over the blind side. Michael Orr is an African-American teen who is struggling being homeless and is facing the challenges of poverty and being in and out of the public school system. At the beginning of the movie, you see that Michael is riding along with a friend to try and attend this private Christian school called Wingate. Once he gets in, he is no longer staying with a friend anymore, leaving Michael homeless. One night, Michael is walking when it is cold and rainy out, and the Toohey family, whose children also attend Wingate, sees him. Miss Toohey, who is the mom, gets out and approaches Michael. She asks him if he has anywhere to stay, and once she realizes he doesn't, she invites him into her home. Once Miss Toohey invites Michael into her home, she's a little skeptic just letting a stranger into her home, but she couldn't just leave him out in the cold rain. The Tooheys taking him in changes his life, but he also changes theirs for the better. Once Michael starts staying with the Toohey family, he is given food, clothes, and all these new opportunities and resources that he did not have before, including getting a proper education and even enrolling in football, and realizes his potential as a football star. The Toohey family gives Michael the happiness and confidence in himself that he didn't realize that he had. Key concepts in The Blind Side are culture, racial stereotypes, culture clash, and nonverbal communication. In an article by UK Essays, it states, people have different culture, but through cultural relativism, they become connected. The cultures in this movie starts with Michael living in poverty and being very poor and not having a lot of opportunities in life. He never had a chance, nor was he given one. He lived in a dangerous neighborhood, constantly moving around and staying on other people's couches. He never had anything different and wasn't used to anything different. Michael had no one to ever care for him. His parents were not in the picture, and he never had anyone worry about him or his education or his future in life until he met Miss Toohey. The Toohey's family's culture was very different. Miss Toohey and her family were extremely successful. They were all very well educated, and Miss Toohey cared for her children. She cared for them enough to provide them with all the things they need, including a private school education. She is around a very wealthy and prestigious lifestyle, and she is not used to anything different. Meeting Michael grounded her and made her realize everyone is not given the same chances or opportunities due to diversity and poverty. She realizes that Michael needs help and a chance because he is a good kid, even though she is skeptic at the beginning of letting a stranger into her home. She doesn't know anything about Michael, but she couldn't just leave him out in the rain and cold. She gives Michael a life and things he's never had before, such as a room, a bed, a truck, new clothes, a tutor, and a chance in life. There are a couple instances where there's racial stereotypes within the movie. In the beginning of the movie, when Leanne lets Michael stay with them, that first night she has reservations once they get home. She realizes that once they get home, she's just letting a stranger stay in her home. But with racial stereotyping, she's saying that she implies, what if he steals something? Because of his skin color and what he looks like. Miss Toohey was at lunch with her friends, and they were making comments asking if she was concerned having a large black boy stay under the same roof as her daughter. Miss Toohey instantly responds with, "Shame on you," because they have no idea what he's been through, but she does, and she knows Michael is a loving, caring, and sweet kid. This was an example of racial stereotypes because asking her if she is worried about her daughter's safety because of his skin color and body size. The culture clash in this movie also takes place when Leanne is at lunch with her friends. Her friends start making stereotypical comments as well as passive-aggressive about Leanne's decision to take in Michael. They make a joke about her just legally adopting him, and she takes it serious and says there's no point considering he'll be 18 soon. That's when her friends start looking at each other and realize that she would be serious to adopt him. You can see these women who are very wealthy eating a fancy lunch, and Leanne, in that moment, realizes she clearly has different values and beliefs than they do. One of her friends tell her she's changing Michael's life, and she tells them, no, he's changing mine. Leanne is saying even though she's giving Michael a home, food, clothes, and future, that he is changing her life more. She says in the picture, look, here's the deal. I don't need y'all to approve my choices, all right? Because once they make the comment that she should adopt him and they're joking and she takes it seriously, they start asking questions like, well, what about this? Well, what will people think of this? What will people think of you having this African American male stay with you? Nonverbal communication takes place in this movie as well. In an article by the Hearing Journal, it states, thus our body language, our facial expressions, our voice, and the way in which we present what we say to others are all extremely powerful. Leanne demonstrates multiple examples of nonverbal communication throughout the movie. She implicated nonverbal communication by the tone of her voice. She is always very calm. She always is stern and gets her point across. She makes eye contact and her body language with her facial expressions as well. The night Leanne sees Michael wandering the streets while it's raining and freezing outside, she stops him. She approaches him with firm posture, calm yet firm tone of voice, and eye contact. She asks the same question of where he's going firmly twice to get him to answer her and to look at her. She asked him if he has any place to stay tonight, and he looks down and nods yes, while she is still looking at him with a firm voice and eye contact. Then she asks him again, don't you dare lie to me, and that's when he looks up and shakes his head no. And that's when she invites him to stay in their home. Michael gets into a car accident with SJ, their youngest son. And when Leanne arrives to the scene, Michael is sitting on the curb just repeating, I am sorry, with his hands over his face. Once Leanne goes and checks on SJ and realizes that he's okay, she goes over to console Michael because she realizes how upset and terrified he is, that he messed up and that he hurt SJ. She keeps trying to reassure him that everything is okay and she is not mad at him with her gestures, her eye contact, and her calm voice. Because she could have just approached him and been mad, yelled at him, and super angry with him, but instead she knew that's not how Michael operated. She approached him being very calm and loving with eye contact and very sweet gestures. In this scene where Michael is at football practice and he is not understanding what he's supposed to be doing on the field, and every time he messes up, because he doesn't want to hit anyone, Michael just is not very aggressive. Everyone assumes because of his size and how big he is that he would just be very aggressive and just knock people down, but he is very much a gentle giant. The coach starts to get mad at him and yell at him because he keeps messing up every time that they run a play. When Leanne witnesses Michael getting yelled at by the coach, she knows that's not how he works or operates. So then Leanne goes down and approaches football practice and approaches Michael. She stops the practice and pulls Michael aside. When she pulls Michael aside, she looks at him and says that he tested 98th percentile in protective instincts. That means that he is very protective over the things that matter to him. Because of this, she tries to put football into terms that he would understand. She knows how much the family means to Michael, so she says to him, think of certain players on the field as his family, because she knows he will do everything to protect the family. Leanne pulling Michael aside and making direct eye contact with him and using a calm voice and using sweet gestures and body languages while being firm in what she is saying to get Michael to understand is the perfect example of nonverbal communication, because pulling him aside and trying to get him to understand football in a way that he'll understand without being yelled at and being talked to aggressively, where he just shuts down and no longer listens. Leanne explains this to the coach and says that you should get to know your players because he did test 98th percentile in protective instincts. You can see from this clip from the movie that she has strong eye contact with Michael and is trying to help him understand and connects football in a way that he understands. In an article by the Help Guide, it states, all of your nonverbal behaviors, the gestures you make, your posture, and your tone of voice, how much eye contact you make, send strong messages. In the conclusion, intercultural communication concepts are shown throughout the movie of The Blind Side. You see the different cultures of growing up privileged and wealthy to growing up homeless and in poverty. You see racial stereotyping throughout the movie and people placing stereotypical beliefs on Michael because of the color of his skin and where he comes from. Culture clash is shown through the difference of cultural beliefs and values. Nonverbal communication is shown through the body language, eye contact, and posture of Leanne Tui, and her tone when she's speaking to Michael. This movie is a great example in showing intercultural communications and its concepts. Thank you so much.